What up, YouTube? It's your boy Polo Evolve. I'm back with another video, and I'm just driving home from the gym right now. And I had a random thought. I was thinking about my most recent blow up with my five Top Step 50K funded accounts. Where, listen, back in December, that's when I had my first funded account with Top Step. Well, I got funded before, but ended up blowing those accounts. And I got my first payout back in December for $1,000, and then I got another payout for another 2K. So in total, I got 3K out of that funded account before ultimately blowing that account, right? Blowing that account, and then I thought, you know what? Since I was able to get two payouts, all I have to do now is just to scale up, right? So I ended up getting three accounts, got one payout of $1,000 each on those three accounts, so that was another 3K. But of course, I spent a lot of money trying to get those accounts up and running. And then once I got that 3K account, or once I got that 3K payout with the three 50K funded, then I ended up blowing that account the very next day as well. And then from there, that's where I decided to ramp up my trading, and I ended up, copying five 50K fundeds, and eventually I ended up blowing a whole bunch of money and throwing all the money I'd made from the payouts back into the account, and then ultimately I secured those five funded accounts, got them into profit of $1,000 each, and then on the third day, I basically ended up blowing it, right? And again, this is all due to my own demise. And what I realized in that little run, so from December all the way till now, what I realized is when I got my payouts back in December with that one funded account, I was the most calm and most, I guess you could just say calm, the most calm trader that you could ever be, right? I would just come to the market every single day, look for my setup. If it's there, I take it with proper risk management. I had all my lockout settings properly in place, and I kept using them every single day to ensure that I wouldn't blow up. And it worked, right? It worked in my favor. I ended up, getting two payouts with that funded account. But then what ended up happening was I got greedy, and I saw how much I could be making off of these numbers off of multiple accounts. And so what I decided to do was, okay, let me scale up, and I completely just threw my plan to the wayside, really, right? I stopped following my plan. I stopped taking the executions that I was normally taking. I was taking B setups, C setups, D setups, anything to just, get the P&L up. I became more of a P&L focused trader rather than a process focused trader. And that was ultimately my demise, guys. I want you guys to understand that when I was calm and following my plan and not really looking for trades every single day, that is exactly when I was able to get those payouts, right? But once I started over trading and thinking that I could find an entry every single day, that is exactly when my account blew up. I have noticed a stark contrast between when I was super calm and able to get those two payouts on the funded account, on my first funded account, and then to now where I was able to secure five funded accounts, but I ended up blowing it up. Why? Because I became so obsessed with, oh, I gotta find an entry, I gotta find an entry. Almost like, essentially trading can very easily become gambling if you do not have the proper protocols to keep you in check. And that's exactly what ended up happening, right? And now I'm at the point where I've kind of blown through all of my payout funds, and I've also dug into pretty much credit card debt at this point. And of course, the situation can be discouraging, but I want you guys to understand something. If you truly believe in yourself and you know that you're going to be successful, and this is why you're working so hard, is because you want to achieve your goals, then these little setbacks, being in credit card debt, all these things don't really matter, right? All these setbacks that you think are really setbacks are not really setbacks. They're just learning curves. You need to learn through these processes, take that lesson and really apply it to your life. That way you don't make that same mistake twice. And you have to think about all the successful people that have become successful in their respective field. They all went through hardships. They all went through setbacks. They all went through turmoil, really, right? And what's the difference between them and a loser is that they just never gave up. They learn from their mistakes, they apply that knowledge, and they keep it moving and grooving. So really what I wanted to say here is that I've noticed that stark contrast, because now that I'm back to, I just have one funded account. And this week I set a lot of strict loss limits, meaning I had a $300 daily loss limit, plus I only had a 10 trade weekly limit. So really 10 entries, right? And that got hit pretty much on my second day. And then I got locked out for the rest of the week. And I didn't really care because, again, I ended up the week in $600 profit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm happy to have been able to get locked out so I can really just reflect upon my trading and actually take it slow, because I know you guys have probably heard this before, but slow is the new fast, right? Everyone wants to get success now. Everyone wants to change their life in one day or overnight. And again, I fall victim to this all the time as well. I really wanted to change my life because again, if you guys have watched my previous videos, you guys know my mom is bedridden and she has been for about 4 years. I don't want to use this as an excuse because at the end of the day, everyone has their own problems. But again, these are all motivations for you to want to be successful. And this is my motivation, which is I want to take care of my family. I want to make sure all my people are straight. And how am I going to do that? Well, instead of trying to rush through the process and essentially gamble your way there, all you really have to do is slow it down. You have to understand all these people that are really successful, all the people that you look up to, for example, like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, you think he didn't go through setbacks? You don't think that he failed in his journey? Of course he did. He just used those failures as learning lessons and he applied it to what he was doing and he kept it moving and grooving. And that's exactly what I want you guys to understand. So slow it down, guys, because I've seen the stark contrast when I was so focused on the PNL and just trading every single day, thinking that there was an opportunity and really just blowing my shit multiple times, blowing through funded accounts, blowing through money, to now there's stark difference between like just having one funded account and really just focusing on the process itself. And yes, I of course I put a 10 trade weekly limit, which ended up getting hit, which forced me to get off the charts and forced me to slow it down. But this is why you have these parameters in the first place, right? And of course, this is why you would have these parameters in the first place, right? One thing that I've realized in my journey is that the faster you try to do things, the faster you're just gonna end up falling on your face. That's really what ends up happening, at least in my case, right? Now, and even all of those people that are quote unquote overnight successes, they're not necessarily overnight successes because they were grinding for multiple years, day in and day out before they achieved that level of success. And a lot of people just think that they got there overnight, but they don't really know the struggle that they went through. They don't know the grind that they went through. And so I want you guys to understand, like, I know everyone wants it tomorrow, and this is what prop firms do, right? They prey on people like us where we want to achieve success tomorrow. We want to change our lives, but that is the very thing that is hindering your success. That that urgency for you to want to make things happen right now. I'm not telling you to not be urgent. Of course, listen, if your life is shit and you want to make changes, you have to make those changes as quick as you can. But when it comes to trading, trading is one of those things where patience will win. And that is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Slow it down, take it easy. It's gonna be okay. There's gonna be so many entries every single day, every single trading day. There's gonna be so many entries that you could take. You just need to take one or two. And sometimes you don't even need to take an entry that day because maybe it doesn't fit your parameters. It doesn't fit the setup that you are looking for, right? What I want to leave you guys off with is trading is a you versus you game. And unless you can master yourself and your own tendencies, you are going to end up falling flat on your face. Trust me, I'm a prime example of this because I was going up, I was seeing a little bit of success, and then I ended up reverting back to my old habits and just ended up falling right on my face. So, with that being said, guys, stay locked in. Thank you guys for watching. Stay frosty, my friends.